Hello everyone. So in today's video we are going to see all the voltage rails of G31 motherboard. So for that I am taking Asus G31 motherboard whose model number is Asus P5KPL-AM-in a motherboard. So this is board view over here. Yes, I will open this board view in board viewer software over here. Okay, so as you can see we have opened our board view and its position is wrong, so I will rotate this. Okay, so all you know that this G31 motherboard is of hub architecture motherboard. So as you can see, this is our north bridge, also called as CMCH, and this is our south bridge, also called as ICH. And this is our processor socket, which is over here, whose number is LGA775, which supports dual core processor, Pentium 4 processor, and C2D processor. Like these processors are supported by this Asus G31 motherboard. Okay, so let's talk about voltage rails. So first of all, whenever you get any kind of G31 motherboard who's having any power related issue or any kind of display related issue or any G31 motherboard, so there are fixed voltages which you have to measure, and after measuring that voltages you can get to know that what is the problem and which voltage is missing. That's why we are facing that problem. So first of all, when you get any kind of motherboard, so first step is physical inspection. So whenever you get any kind of motherboard for repair, just first check physically, is there any kind of corrosion or burn marks or anything else which may be fishy, or you may check for liquid damage. So if you have any kind of burn marks, then first of all check for shorting in that area, and first try to remove shorting from that area, and then just inject power and just try to turn on. Then we can see next what we are facing in that. So next problem is that when you have corrosion, whenever you have corrosion, just clean with it. You can clean with isopropyl alcohol or you can use thinner, and in market there are other various chemicals available for cleaning. So just clean that. After cleaning, if it is resistor or something else component, just try to resolder it. After resoldering, many times whenever I receive H61 H81 motherboards, I just get to know that there is some sort of rusting and the motherboard is in no power condition. Whenever you have a IO like this, and in this IO, if you have any pin which is rusted and this motherboard is coming for no display, sorry, no power issue, just resolder that pins which are rusted one. Your problem will be solved. I have just got many problems like that, and after removing that rust and just resoldering it, I have solved that problem. So this is the second step. And whenever you receive any motherboard with liquid damage, just clean it with isopropyl alcohol, and just after drying it, just power on and check whether what problem you are getting. It is no display or no power, then we can proceed further with next steps. Okay, so first of all, whenever you receive any kind of G31 motherboard, the first section which you have to go through is the RAM section, which is over here. In this G31 motherboard we have 1.8, we have DDR2 RAM supported, whose operating voltage is 1.8 volt. So let's talk about which are the supplies we have to check in this RAM section. This is the RAM section. As you can see, okay, here we have RAM section MOSFET. This is this is upper MOSFET, this is lower MOSFET, and this is the coil which will give the 1.08 volt output. As you can see, okay, this is the, you can see 1.0 voltage will be available on this coil. So first of all, let me just tell you what are the voltage. So first of all, whenever you get any kind of motherboard and you don't know its which RAM is connected over, means which RAM is supported on that motherboard, just you will get here it is given as a circle, but near this circle you will be given a numbers. means if it is one DDR2 RAM, then 1.8 volt will be there. If it is DDR3, then 1.5. If it is DDR4, then 1.2 volt will be written over here. So by reading that, you can get to know which RAM it is supporting. Okay. So next we are going to talk about voltages. First of all, you have to check RAM voltage. You can check on this coil, which should be 1.8 volt. As you can see, this is the point where you can check. Otherwise, you can check on these capacitors which are connected nearby this RAM socket. Otherwise, after connecting RAM, you can check this RAM voltage on any capacitor on RAM. You will get 1.8 volt. If that voltage 1.8 volt is missing, then just try to follow gate of this MOSFET, and as you can see, you will get here one component which is regular our buck controller, which is going to control gates of this our MOSFET, as you can see. So you have to just change this. As you can see, the name of this controller is that RT8105, which is uh, from a Rich Tech company is manufacturer of this IC. So you have to just change this IC because you will be getting 5 volts on top of this, sorry, on this MOSFET, but at another MOSFET drain, the secondary MOSFET drain, you will be not getting any kind of voltage because this is the controller which controls gate of this both the MOSFET, and these MOSFETs are not turned on, then you will not get any kind of RAM voltage. So whenever first problem which you get in RAM section, if there is no any kind of RAM voltage, just directly change this RAM controller. Okay. So in various G31 motherboards, this IC will be changing. So in this P5K PLM, so we have 8105 IC. In various other motherboard, you will get varying numbers. So this is the first part which you have to check. Then in RAM's socket, these are the pins. Here you will be finding pins. Just check from there will be numbering given over here and here too. So it will be starting from 1 2 3 5 6 like this, and it will be coming back to like this. So just we will go through the pin. So the most important pins are like, you have to check 1.8 volt, which is our RAM supply. Then afterwards, next pin is SM data pin, which is 119 pin number. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, 119 number, which is SM data. On this pin, you should get 3.3 volt, which is nearby here. Then next pin is 120 pin number, which is SM clock. Here you should get 3.3. If you see through oscilloscope, then you will get a means square wave, PWM wave. Okay. So after that, next very important pin is, you will face this. If this voltage is missing, then you will face uh, this RAM is not supported. In diagnostic card, you will get C1 C0 like this errors. So this is the pin which you have to check always. So as you can see, 238 number pin, which is SPD VDD voltage. And in many motherboards, if you get beep error, means RAM beep is giving, then 101% the fault is in SPD VDD pin. Sometimes this SPD VDD track is cut, means there is some sort of breakage, that's why the voltage is missing on this pin number. So if you can just make a jumper from any 3.3 volt line over from this motherboard, just make a jumper to this pin, and after making jumper, your problem will be solved. So this is the most important in RAM section. Means first voltage is our RAM supply voltage, which is 1.8 volt. Then next is SM clock, which should be 3.3 volt. Then next is SM data, which should be 3.3 volt always, and SPD VDD on pin number 238, which is 3.3. Okay, this is the pin number 238, which should be 3.3 volt. So if this is missing, then you will get RAM issue and we will be having no display issue. So just make a jumper from 3.3 volt line. You can use this power connector, you can just make a jumper directly from power connector to here, and after that your problem will be solved. Okay, So in this motherboard, in RAM section, we don't have RAM VTD because we have DDR2 RAM connected. In DDR3, we have RAM VTD. Okay, so after that, we have another section which is our south bridge. For powering south bridge, we need two kind of voltage, which is 1.05 and which is another is 1.5 volt. So here we are having one MOSFET, as you can see. So on this MOSFET, the input is coming from RAM supply, as you can see, 1.8 volt. So 1.8 volt is generated on this motherboard in only in RAM section. So input is always RAM to this MOSFET. Okay, so you should check this input also. Then after that, output should be 1.5 volt. So you have to get 1.5 volt on this source terminal of this MOSFET. Okay, this is the one MOSFET. And again, if you check gate, who is controlling gate of this MOSFET, you will get, I think this is the register which is connected over here. So let's check where that register is going. As you can see, register is pointing towards this IC. And if you check that IC, which is an op-amp, operational amplifier, and whose number is LM325 324, sorry, you will get GS324, like these names are there. But if you see any kind of IC which with 14 terminals and having 3 to 4 numbers, which is also which is exactly op-amp, operational amplifier, just replace this. If you don't get at output any voltage over here, 1.5 voltage is missing, then just trace this our LM324 and just replace it. After replacing, you will get your voltage over here. So next voltage is our 1.05 voltage. So I am guessing this is the MOSFET where we should get 1.05 voltage, which is above this. So here it will be heat sink. Below that heat sink, this is the MOSFET which should be getting 1.05 volt. This is the drain. Again, on drain you can see the input is RAM voltage. This is the gate. Again we will trace the gate. This is the register connected to gate. So I will trace that register. Just click on second point of the register, and as you can see, again it is connected to LM324. So this is the most important part. Sometimes this is failing, that's why our motherboard is having issues related no display or no power. So always check this LM324 again, and out at output you can see it is giving 1.05 volt, which is supplied to our south bridge. Okay, these are two voltages which will be available to given to our south bridge. Okay, it is called as ICH, input output controller hub. Okay, next we are moving towards this north bridge. Okay, for providing power to north bridge, we have a pair of MOSFET over here, as you can see. Again, let's check what is the input voltage for this MOSFET. Okay, okay, they are not shown from where that input is coming. Okay, let it be. But this is the pair where you have to check the supply for GMCH, which is graphics memory controller hub. So these are two pairs which will be generating 1.25 volt. As you can see, this is the coil. On this coil you can check the supply, which is of 1.25 volt, which is given to GMCH, which is also called as a north bridge. Okay, you have to check this 1.25 volt on this. So you should get this voltage in that. If this voltage is missing, then you will get no power issue maybe, or means the fan will spin for some time and just turn off, or you will get no display issue, means fan is running continuously, but there is no any kind of display over our monitor. Okay, so this is the 1.25 volt line. Okay, so you have to check that voltage on this point. After that, you have CPU VTD on this MOSFET. Yes, as you can see, again 1.8 volts means the RAM supply is again input to this MOSFET, which for CPU VTD. So output of this CPU VTD will be approx 1.2 volt. It may be 0.98 volt, means zero point 0.9 volt or zero point 0.1 volt. So approx, which the board which I have seen, it is approx 1.2 volt. So here you should get 1.2 volt, because this is CPU utility voltage, and this is again enable for our vCore IC. That's why this is the most important voltage for enabling our VRM section. Whenever you don't have vCore or your processor is not hitting, you should first check this supply is available or not. If RAM supply is also missing, then you are also then your CPU also be not hitting. That's why, because RAM supply is going to each and every section, means south bridge also, and north bridge also. It is going as an input, and after that it is dropped down to some sort of 1.25 or 1.2 volt and given to north bridge or south bridge. Okay, so that's why RAM supply should be there, and again this supply should be there. If your vCore is missing, you have to check this supply. Okay, so this is the last, means fourth section which you have to check, and this is the last section which is going to give power supply, power to our CPU, as you can see. So this is 1, 2, okay, and 3. Okay, so we are having three coils, means we can say this is three phase power supply, means there are three coils which will be giving vCore voltage to our CPU. Okay, so first of all, let's see how the voltage is passing. So we are having this over here, means this is the 12 pin ATX connector, means 4 pin ATX connector, so which will be supplying 12 volt from our SMPS. So this supply is directly going to the drain of this primary MOSFET. Okay, and this is the capacitor. Okay, this is the drain. Okay, and output of on source terminal will be getting 1.2 volt, or it may be range from zero point 0.9 volt to 1.8 volt. So it varies according to the motherboard. So this is the core voltage which should be available. So there are three coils. On each and every coils we can check our core supply. As you can see, as I am clicking over here, each and every coil is interly connected, means short circuited with each other. What if you have VRM section shorting in VRM section, and we have like this three phase power supply, and if you are having this MOSFET pair is shorted, then one thing which you can do, remove this MOSFET pair, and after removing this MOSFET pair, your motherboard will work on these two MOSFET pair. But keep in mind that at least two MOSFET pair will means two coils should be there, means two phase supply should be there, because minimum it required. Because if you remove two this MOSFET pairs, means two phase supply are removed, and you are only working with this, then your motherboard will be this, both the MOSFET will be shorted after running for 1 hour, 2 hour. After 2 hours it will be again shorted. That's why minimum two phases, means two this pairs should be there for generating weak core supply. So let's talk about, this is the primary MOSFET and this is the secondary MOSFET. On primary MOSFET we are getting 12 volt from this SMPS, and it should be from 12 volt it should be dropping to 1.2 volt over here, which is our vCore voltage. And this is the secondary MOSFET, and on drain of secondary MOSFET we are getting that 1.2 volt, which is also connected to coil, and the output of coil is going to CPU. Okay, on the source of that secondary terminal is grounded, and again gate is connected to one IC. So in this motherboard, in some motherboard you will get a driver IC like this. This is the driver IC RT9605B. Okay, in some motherboard it this the gate of that each and every MOSFET in VRM section will be directly connected to VRM IC. So in this motherboard it is connected to driver IC. In some motherboard you will get it is directly connected to this driver IC. In Intel banded motherboard, you will be having driver IC separately. Means 6 leg or 8 leg driver IC will be there with this pair. Each and every pair will be having its own driver IC. In Dell branded motherboard also you will be finding that. In HP motherboard, branded motherboard, you will be finding those separate driver IC for each and every pair. So if that in that case you are having VRM section short, just remove that driver IC also with this pair. Okay. So this is the VRM IC which will be which will be controlling our driver IC, and driver IC will be controlling all the MOSFETs in VRM section to generate our weak voltage. Okay, so let's talk about problem we face in VRM section. So whenever you get any kind of no display issue, just first you have to check VCore is available or not. So if VCore is not available, then first of all you have to check CPU VTT is available or not on this MOSFET. If CPU VTT is available, then just check whether we are getting that CPU VTT on this over here, because it should be connected to pin number this. Okay, okay, let's check where is the enable pin. Okay, VCore enable, as you can see on this pin we should get that CPU VTT supply over here, and then and only then this IC will work and our VCore will be generated. Sometimes you get VCore means where CPU VTT is available on this pin, but there is no kind of any kind of VCore is generated. So in that section, in that issue, you have to check all the components near this. Then you have to directly replace this core IC, and after replacing core IC your voltage is available, then it's okay. It is not available, then just replace this driver IC also. These are some. Okay, this is so last section was core section. So this were the few sections which we have talked in this video. First was RAM section, then another was south bridge. In RAM section we have seen that RAM power supply was of 1.8 volt, then SM clock on pin number 120 pin. Okay, it should be 3.3. Then SM data on pin 119, so it should be also 3.3. Then on pin number 238 of RAM socket we should get 3.3 volt, which is SPD VDD supply. If that SPD VDD supply is missing, then we are getting just RAM beep. After that we have seen this our south bridge section. In that we are having two power supplies, which is 1.5 volt and 1.05, which are these two MOSFETs are controlled by this LM324, which is connected over here. Then next is our north bridge supply, which is also known as GMCH supply. On this coil we should get 1.25 volt. So this is the GMCH supply, which is going to GMCH. Okay, another, then we have to check CPU VTT over here. So at output of this MOSFET we will be getting CPU VTT. Okay, and this is this CPU VTT is given as a enable to this VRM IC. Just check whether VCore enable is available or not. If it is available, and then also our VCore is not generated, just replace this core IC. And after replacing core IC we are not getting we are getting same issue, then just try to replace this driver IC. Again there may be any kind of shorting regarding this MOSFET in core section. So how to check shorting in core section? Sometimes you get motherboard, and after just connecting SMPS, just trying to power on, the fan spins for few seconds. After that fan stops spinning. So in that section there may be some sort of shorting related VRM section. In G31 motherboard or 915945 motherboard you usually get this kind of problem. So for checking whether we have VRM short or not, just remove this 4 pin supply, which is 12 volt 8x connector. Just remove that and just try to power on. If motherboard is the fan of motherboard is spinning continuously, it means we have some sort of shorting in this VRM section. So for that you have to check in VRM section. Mostly MOSFET which are connected are N channel, as you can see N channel MOSFET. So just check that one by one MOSFET, trigger it, and just check whether the drain and source are shorted together, or source or gate and or this terminal are giving beep with each other. They are shorted. Just remove that and just replace all the with n channel MOSFET. And after replacing, you can just power on, and after that you can get your mother working fine. So this was in today's video, in which we have seen about all the voltages regarding G31 motherboard. And what if you have checked all the voltages, means you have checked all the RAM supply and all that, and your vCore is also available, and if you don't have display, then last thing is which you have to do, just program its BIOS. I think its BIOS should be near over here. This is the BIOS chip. Just program this BIOS and check after programming this BIOS your display comes or not. Okay, this is the last step which you have to check. And after programming BIOS, if your display is not there, then check all the power goods, RAM section power good, or say this power good, vCore power good, and all the power goods which are available on motherboard. You can check on IO. We'll get all the power good section, means pins will be there. You have to check those pins and just check. And sometimes there may be problem with these chips which are of means which are connected to audio and our LAN socket. So just remove. Sometimes you have to remove these chips because most of the times audio chip is shorted, so that's why our motherboard is not powering on. Just and same with the LAN socket. So just remove audio and LAN chips and check whether your motherboard is powering or not. Okay, this was in today's video. Thank you.